What's up, everybody? It's your man Danelle, aka Small Guy Promotions, aka the Omaha Fatty, coming with another podcast episode of What's Up, Omaha. Today we have another special guest. We have Melissa.
Hello.
You guys might not know her by Melissa. What do you go? I know you more from Instagram.
Yeah.
But we've recently connected on Facebook as well.
I love all your podcasts. And I love the restaurants you go to. I'm always telling my husband, I was like, oh, but he recommends it. So I mostly go under the Facebook Life in the Mason Jar.
Okay. And then on Instagram, it's just
MW Loves Coffee, because that's pretty much how I roll.
There you go. I think we started on Twitter.
We started on Twitter.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Because your wife, I made some recipe.
And I saw it and I was like, hey.
That's right.
Yes.
I forgot that. That is where we connected first, was Twitter.
Yep. And I remember saying, oh, I thought I was following you on Instagram too, but I'm not.
That's right. And then we became Facebook. You're right. So you have better memory than I do.
Barely, just a little bit. So yeah, man, that's the whole reason that I asked her to be on, was because I wanted to talk about food.
Right. And it's so amazing to me how many dairy-free options there are now.
Yes.
So when we first went dairy-free for our eldest daughter, who's now 21, almost 22, which makes me feel freakishly old, can I just tell you? I'm like, oh my goodness. But she was 10 years old. Thank God for Children's Hospital in Omaha, because that's who diagnosed her with Crohn's disease. Mm-hmm. Because we knew something was wrong with our baby. It's like that moment you have as a parent, you know something's wrong, but you just don't know what it is.
Right.
So the GI team there diagnosed her with Crohn's disease, and through many labs and scopes and procedures and you name it, they figured out dairy was one of her triggers, which is really common in the family of Crohn's diseases.
Okay.
And it's not like every person with Crohn's has a dairy as a trigger for inflammation, but many do. It's really common. I don't know the percentage, but it is it's like at least 80%.
Yeah.
Well, think back to 2010. There weren't all these dairy-free products at grocery stores anymore. You go to Baker's. Yeah,
it's still kind of sometimes.
And it was like, hey, here's your soy milk, your one brand.
Yep.
I was like, are you kidding? And then, Emma's very candid about this. That's our daughter's name. So I'm okay saying this. Emma also at age 10 has an ileostomy.
Okay.
Because Emma's colon was so inflamed, she couldn't use it. So then we have roughly 100 food items that Emma can't eat. Like onions, cabbage, just this magnitude of items. So even if something says dairy-free, it doesn't mean I can buy it for my kid.
Oh, man.
And you're a dad. You totally get that. When your baby looks at you, it says, but why can't I have cake and pizza at the birthday party like the other kids? Yep. And your heart just kind of, it's not that big of a deal, but your heart just kind of breaks.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And luckily the kids don't have anything, but I know just how bad I feel when my wife can't eat certain things like the pizza. And she's like, oh, it's no big deal. But I'm like, yeah, I know, but
it is a big deal.
I just want you to experience the greatness of this.
Or Cheesecake Factory. Oh, no cheesecake for you.
Yeah, no.
And the good thing is she's a really laid back, sweet kid. And she's an adult, and still her personality. Yeah. But still, and I like to bake, and Ed was a general's enlisted aide in the Air Force. Mm-hmm. So that means he did all the dinner parties and things like that. So between the two of us, we have a pretty good culinary knowledge. And I love science. My parents were both scientists. Yeah. So I get the science of cooking. Okay. And so I just began playing with recipes. And that's when my friends said, well, would you share your recipes? Or at least share, if the recipe isn't mine, share what you did to it to make it safe, for Emma, which again, I reiterate, isn't for every person with Crohn's, it's for our daughter. Right. So I figured out how to make chocolate chip cookies and all of Emma's favorites, like mac and cheese. Yeah. I was so proud of my mac and cheese. I seriously.
And that's a big one, the dairy thing and not having mac and cheese.
I figured out how to make cheesecake, which was Emma's freaky happy place.
Well, if you'd like to send me that as well too. We usually have to go somewhere like Modern Love or something to get something that's
well, and like I said, that's kind of a problem for us though, because on top of that, we're the very needy family. I'm allergic to tree nuts. So a lot of the dairy products are made with cashew, almond. Well, I like to breathe. Yep. So that's part of it too, is that some of the dairy-free products and some of the restaurants that use dairy-free products still aren't safe.
And then on top of that, you find too that it's hard to trust when you go out because they don't always know when you ask them the ingredients. So
they don't. And so there's that little part of your man going, okay, but I'd like to breathe. Like not too long ago, my husband and I went to, I won't say where, just an establishment. We'll just leave it at that. And I asked them to please make sure it was avocado free because I'm allergic to avocado. And I take a bite, my mouth starts itching, my throat starts itching, and I unroll it, and there's avocado in it. So I mean, it's hard. It's like you want to trust, but
and they have to be careful because you could end up killing someone if you don't know what you're serving.
Politely, what I pointed out to the owner, I said, "Look, I'm not that person, but you need to be aware that." You need to say, and your servers need to know what the ingredients are.
Or at least be able to feel comfortable going back and asking, like, hey,
Right. Like, and then maybe it's a communication issue. Like maybe the servers aren't communicating with the kitchen because the kitchen's made it clear they shouldn't be. I don't know. But somewhere there's a communication breakdown.
Yeah, because that'll end in a big lawsuit.
Right.
If and I know that we've gone places too before where we'll ask and they'll not necessarily know, or they'll tell us no, but then my wife, after, like you said, after eating, she's like, ooh, I think there was something.
Yes.
But now we're at a point where we're not even sure if it's the dairy. She might have another allergy as well, so she's got to go back and get another test. And
that's hard.
So it's like, maybe they did know, maybe they did. I don't know.
So in this house, we don't do latex, tree nuts, or dairy. And latex isn't, my mom's a botanist, so it's not botanically the exact same as avocado, kiwi, and banana, but it's close enough that the body understands it as latex. So we don't do avocado, banana, or kiwi, so no banana bread here, sorry.
Oh man, so many things, many things. And that's again, like at the times when we go to eat something and I'm like, I don't have any restrictions.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
I just feel bad for my wife.
Jealous. I understand your wife's plight, let's put it that way, because my husband is you. There's no restrictions. He can pretty much eat anything. And then there's we three, and no.
Yeah.
I will always give a shout out to John and Michael at Golden Bowl, because I can go in the very first when they opened. I waited, a month because I didn't want to like overwhelm them.
Right.
I brought in their list. I'm not kidding. You have 100 items our kid can't eat. I was like, John, is there anything here he could eat? And he's like, oh yeah, I can do this. He instantly had like 10 different dishes that she could eat. I was like, you are amazing. Yeah. You are amazing. So, I mean, we're at Golden Bowl. Well, not now, sadly.
Yes.
But I'm still in mourning.
Yeah, but a lot of people are.
We are there all the time because it's one of the few restaurants Emma can eat at that we can safely as a family eat at.
Well, and by the way, I think I already told you, but John thinks that you're like so nice. So
I'm glad. I think they're amazing.
It's funny. So you were saying you saw how we went out to
I was kind of jealous. I was like, they went on a barbecue. They didn't invite me.
That's his whole thing. He's like, since we're closed, like I'm gonna go to these places that I can't normally go to because
he's running a restaurant. I mean, that's a full-time job, like really a full-time job.
Well, and we talked about that, and it's like, hey man, like you, even on your day off, your one day off a week, you still are at the restaurant because you guys are cleaning or doing payroll or whatever.
Food orders, inventory.
Yep.
That's what I mean by food order. Yeah. I mean, I see it as if you own a restaurant. And I don't know this for a fact, but I kind of think it must be like being a parent. You're never really off.
Yeah.
It's a 24/7 job.
Yeah, you can get that call even if you are off. So
like look at John, like the ceiling collapsed. I mean, you just get that phone call and it's like, that's not a good phone call.
Yep. And he, he's to the core, really, really service oriented.
He is.
So what happened was,
I love John.
We're eating, and we actually haven't gone out and hung out before. Right. We had talked about it for so long, and we're like, okay, let's make it happen. So we're sitting down, and he's got his cup. He's like, "You want a drink? I'll get it for you." I'm like, "John, you're not working, bro.
Right? This is not your restaurant.
Like, just I can get it. Like, you get your drink, I'll get my drink." And I'm like, you're still in like restaurant mode.
I remember teasing him once, saying he should wear one of those step counters. I'm like, I bet you get 20, 30,000 steps a day easily.
Yeah. And,
I'm sure he must.
Going back and forth,
Yes, because he is so service oriented. He is genuinely one of the nicest guys I've ever met.
He is. And sometimes he's doing the deliveries too. So he's walking out and doing that. And like you said, it's his baby.
It is his baby. And that's just what I imagine it's like, kind of like being a parent. Is that your restaurant is your baby?
Yep. So shout out to Golden Bowl
That's
and
right.
John and everyone there.
If you have dietary restrictions, trust me, John, and they are so willing to work with you.
Yep. And I know a lot of people ask about the gluten and whatnot. And
yes.
they can make certain dishes gluten-free. There's some that they can't.
There's some that can't.
Yep. But there are a decent amount of options for gluten-free. Just call and ask, if they can't do it, they'll let you know. So that is a good thing about them for sure.
It is. It's one of our favorite restaurants. And I know John once asked like what products I use mostly in dairy-free cooking. And I think I've told you this too. So am I good saying brand names or no?
Yeah, whatever,
okay.
Yeah.
So we tend to get like obviously vegan things because that's what dairy-free tends to be. Yes. So my favorite butter for all you bakers out there that acts like real butter when you bake, use Earth Balance.
You know what? We haven't used that yet, but I heard that someone told me they have this box of, it's like Cheez-Its.
Yes.
But they don't have it at the Hy-Vee out here in Papillion.
Baker's Twin Creek.
Oh, really?
Stop by on your way.
Baker's in Twin Creek.
You're
I've been wanting to get some for my wife because
they're good. Emma inhales them. Yeah.
Okay, cool. You're the
second
person.
Happy that I just shouted that out, but yeah. Oh no, honey, I didn't say you inhaled them.
Well, there you go, Mitzi. I'm gonna get you some Earth Balance Cheez-Its
really
or whatever
good,
whatever they're called.
And another product that I get a lot is heavy cream because that's hard to sub.
Okay.
I've not yet found a whipping cream, like the old fashioned, not like whipped cream made, but like the whipping cream when you whisk it. Okay. But heavy cream is Ripple.
Okay.
Which I've seen it at I get it at Baker's in Twin Creek, but I'm sure it's at Hy-Vee and others.
Yeah.
But that one makes fabulous ice cream. You can make homemade ice cream. So just shouting that out. I mean, you can put fruit in it. We make vanilla. We get the dairy-free, the Enjoy Life brand cookies and crumble them up.
Oh, we haven't heard of those.
We don't know Enjoy Life?
No.
My friend, you need to find the teal boxes.
Well, so what we found though is that there's a lot of cookies that don't have dairy, like Oreo. Like so, we'll
who knew Oreo was healthy?
yeah. There's a lot of like Nabisco snacks that there's like the Nutter Butters and like there's this one time I just got her a whole bunch of stuff, Fig Newtons.
And I've never verified this, but a friend told me that technically Cool Ranch Doritos are vegan. I've not verified that, so I kind of want to.
I'll have to look.
But a friend's like, no, really, they're vegan. I'm like, really? I would not have guessed that.
I'll have to look at that label.
Right? Missy Hilda.
But yeah, it's really cool, and I just appreciate so much. And if you please follow her on social media because these dishes, these desserts that she makes, they look so good. And when I found out they were dairy free, I was like, I need to know her because I want to make my wife happy. So.
And I will tell you, shout out to the blogger. One of my favorite blogs is Go Dairy Free.
Okay.
So if anyone is struggling with dairy free, highly recommend that.
Okay. And I want to touch on really quick. You said the butter that you use. So we usually use Country Crock. We
use soy-free Earth Balance, but I'm at like an old school baker in the sense that I have a kitchen scale and I weigh the ingredients. Yeah. Okay. I'm picky like that. I'm not gonna lie. Like it's just 3.5 cups of flour. I look up what kind of flour and how many grams would that weigh, where it's all-purpose or bread or rye.
Yeah.
So Earth Balance does come in sticks. It's hard to find. I just get it in the tub.
Yep.
And then I just measure it.
Yep.
But we use that. The other favorite thing here is oat milk. If you haven't tried oat milk, it's really tasty.
I don't think we've seen commercials and stuff, but
yeah, it's good. It's got the mouthfeel of like cow's milk, where some of them don't, like rice milk. I mean, it's okay, but it's like more like water.
Yeah, we usually stick with we've tried a few different ones, but the almond milk is the big one.
Yeah, again, I'm jealous.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but I think it's Miyoko. It's a cashew-based cheese product, and I've seen it like Hy-Vee, Whole Foods, everywhere. I hear it's like the Cadillac of like dairy-free cheeses, but it's made with cashew, so not for me. Or Kite Hill, also made with cashew, but so if you really want to like treat your wife, like I hear Kite Hill has a queso that you'd swear was real cheese.
I wonder, her brother had found some cashew cheese, or cashew queso,
right,
somewhere, and he loved it, but she had it and she didn't like it. But I think she tried it again and she liked it the second time. I'm not sure what brand it was, but
I hear, and then again, word of mouth, I hear Kite Hill is the way to go. Like, unfortunately, not something we can try and I can attest to, but I hear it's the Cadillac. And then another thing I always have, like I said, are Enjoy Life brands.
Okay.
So they're free of, I believe it's 8 of the top allergens, like soy, egg, tree nut. And that sounds like they're like, my dad laughs and says, what is it, sawdust? Like, no, they're really good. But that's the chocolate chips I use and all the cookies and everything.
Yeah.
Enjoy Life.
Okay.
And then, I do bake a lot, but I also, I'm a real person and I sometimes just want to grab something off a shelf.
Yep.
Not going to lie, friends. I'm known to do it. My freezer has Trader Joe pre-made meals in it. Okay. We all been there, done that.
Yeah. I mean, I have no problem with, just guilty pleasures and just whatever that you have. Like, I know one thing that I know they're not good for you, so we don't eat them often. But like the cup, well, we don't do the cup of noodles. We do the yakisoba.
Oh yeah,
they're like $1. Mm-hmm. Oh, and
guilty pleasure.
Someone had one at work one time, and I was like, "What? It smells so good. What are you eating?" And they're like, "Oh, yakisoba. They're only like $1." Oh my gosh, those things are so good, and you can get them on sale for like 75 cents sometimes.
Oh, yeah. Guilty pleasure. Mm-hmm. I'm with you.
So good, so good. So yakisoba, and they have different brand names too, but yakisoba is one of the main ones. Mm-hmm. And again, it's like high in sodium and all that, so you don't want to eat it all the time. But
it's not good for you, but it's so good.
Yeah. If you eat it just like once a month or once every few weeks, you're fine. So
exactly. We're not cardiologists, but
yeah. So I always feel like there's a good balance to be had for things like that. So,
you shouldn't have a diet of Doritos and Oreos, but occasional isn't going to hurt you.
Right.
Assuming food allergies and everything else, it's not going to hurt you.
Yep. And I'll be getting back on the eating healthier bus here just because I need to for jujitsu.
Well, I think we all kind of did the whole COVID thing.
Yeah, COVID was a big thing.
It's kind of hard to leave your house when you're in quarantine, and then what do? You just sit around and eat your Doritos. Yep,
and I was just like, supporting local. Let's go support local. I've said it so many times on the podcast. I said people are losing their jobs, and
it's scary.
Bad stuff. And I said we're not in that position. We're fortunate enough to be able to try to help. So let's go out and eat. Not go out, but go and get food.
Right. Yeah. I feel that.
Yeah.
I went through. I'm not even like. I'm kind of like embarrassed to have to admit this, but I went through, so from last year, from March to May, I think I went through like 50 pounds of flour.
What else would you do? That was the thing. My
neighbors were all really well fed.
That was the thing. They said so many people.
So bored.
Yep. Did you make breads and stuff?
I made bread and cookies and you name it. I was aware that not everyone is comfortable at that point receiving goods made in someone's home. And so I asked my neighbors, are you okay with this? Because if so, I'll leave it on your doorstep.
Yep.
I was just bored.
Yeah.
And, I sampled a lot. So yeah.
Well, and I don't know like the studies or like any percentages either, but I know that they said that baking bread was one of the big things of the last year.
Yes. So, so many people don't even know their refrigerator from their oven. I follow on social media. We're suddenly making bread. I was like, wow, look at you go.
Yep. And oh man, I tell you, my wife, we have rhubarb at the house that we moved into. It's always grown.
The previous owners planted it.
Yep.
Yes.
And it's like every year, you don't even have to do anything. It just grows back.
Thank you. My kind of plant.
Man, she made these peanut butter cookies, and then she made a jam out of the rhubarb and put it on top of the cookies.
Oh, nice.
They were so good. And
I would eat the platter. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. And then I feel guilty, but I do it.
Well, it was one of those things where, you have one, and then you go back in the living room, and then you maybe go in the kitchen to get something to drink. You're like, oh, I'll have another.
Rhubarb, it's healthy.
Yeah, just one more. And then you're like, you know what? It's just peanut butter and rhubarb. There's sugar in it, but yeah, there's definitely things like that where I think she cooked and baked more.
Oh yeah.
She was home for 6 weeks.
It was she.
Yeah, without work because she works at a salon.
Oh,
so she was out of work for a bit.
Shut everything down.
That was, it's not like, I know she doesn't want to do that all the time, but I was kind of on one little aspect of it. I was not so mad because she was cooking all this stuff, and I was like,
you ate well.
Yeah, I was like, I don't remember you ever like cooking and baking so often. She's like, I never had time before.
I did the opposite. I actually quit being a stay-at-home mom after 20-something years, went back to work in the school during COVID year.
How fun is that?
Which people were like, let me get this straight. During a pandemic is when you decide to go back to work. I was like, yeah, that's how I roll.
Yeah.
I mean, it's people needed me, so, but I enjoy it. It's a really chill, like, I was a teacher in the 90s in different states and inner city schools, and then I became a stay-at-home mom for 2 decades.
Yeah.
And I went back as a parent. I'm telling you, it's a great gig.
If
you're a retired teacher, trust me, it's a great gig.
I don't even have any experience in that field, but
dad,
our elementary school, they have a position, and I'm just like, oh, but I need benefits, and like, so I can't. Like,
I will say that's the perk I have is that since my husband's retired Air Force, so I work like 4 hours a day, and I do small group instruction with 2nd and 3rd graders and reading and math, and then I come home.
Yeah, who knows what the future may hold, but
gig.
Oh man,
I love it. I mean, it's a way that I feel I'm helping the community, and I'm still helping myself, like not go crazy, because you only can bake so many cookies.
yeah. At some point, you gotta just get out.
Like
and
I'm sure Mitzi enjoyed it for 6 weeks, but at some point, I'm sure she also was like, "And I'd like to get back to work."
Oh yeah, for sure. And for her, she never wanted to do anything else.
Right. That was me. Ever since I was 5, I wanted to be a teacher.
Yep.
So I can relate to that.
Yep. So it's and that's the thing. So she doesn't have benefits with her work, but she loves what she does.
So you have the benefits.
So I have the benefits and don't like what I do.
I'm sorry.
And I suffered through it.
Pause for a moment in the morning. I feel for you. Like I said, I know where you work and been there, done that. And it's not good.
Yeah. So
it's like years ago, I worked for a principal that just, we all as in half the staff and faculty were ready to walk out. So, I mean, I get that when work is not a happy place, it's not a happy, it's just not. It's not happy at work. It's not happy at home.
But that's why work from home is good.
See?
Yes, yes. So, I don't know. It gave me an extension, but I still think I've talked about it for 2 years. I'm there because it serves a purpose. It's transactional. That's all it is.
Well, it's, as we tell our 19 and 21-year-old, it's adulting.
Yeah.
The adulting reality is you do have bills to pay and you need benefits. And
people are like, why don't you go somewhere else? Well, it's not that easy. I started putting applications and resumes in last year, and then like COVID popped up. Yeah. So it kind of slowed it down, and I wasn't really wanting to go on interviews and stuff. I'm like, I'm at home, so I'll just deal with it. Then I'm like, well, whenever they make us go back to work, maybe that'll be the point where I'm just like, oh,
exactly. And then my husband, we're at the end. Like, so my principal asked me if I'd be looking into getting a Nebraska license. And I kind of looked into it. But again, I was a stay-at-home mom for 20 years. Yeah. So I'm pretty dated. I mean, there's college classes, and I wasn't licensed in Nebraska to start with. And so there's just a lot of hoops to jump through. And I was like, as much as my heart wants to tell you yes, because I try to be a people pleaser, you know, but I'm like, we're at the point, we're 4 years away-ish, 4 or 5 years away from husband retiring. Kids are out of college, house is paid for. So I get that because we're at the point it's like, I know.
Yep.
No, we're at the end.
Yep. Yeah.
So I can relate. You look at that and you're going, okay, but I've already been here X number of years at where you currently work.
Yep.
Do I just suck it up and deal?
Yeah.
Or do I reinvent myself somewhere?
Yeah. And for us, it's like, or for me, it's like these other things that I never intended to be full-time things, they just become a bigger part of life. And now it's like, okay, well, how can I make Omaha Fatty and Small Guy Promotions?
I hope it works for you.
Something will come. I don't know when. And people, like, I think people don't understand my mindset because, like, I'm super patient about it.
Right.
And I'm not going to try to force anything. So yes, I really don't like my job. But I'm going to be smart about it. And like, we don't have any debt aside from our home.
Same.
And it's just like, I just have to play it. It may not make sense because somebody might hear me complaining about work, but trust me, I know what I'm doing.
We all complain about work. Yeah. I mean, like, no job is perfect. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure even Johnny Goldable. Do you complain about work, John? I'm sure John even does. I mean, no job is perfect.
Probably.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it is what it is. Like one of the things we're quite proud of is our girls have no student loans. We have no college debt. We are proud of that. It's just, we don't believe in student loans. We're debt-free family like you and Mitzi. I mean, our house, of course. I mean, is it our debt? But other than that, no.
Yeah. And
because we told the girls, we're like, but if you get student loans, I mean, you crunch numbers too. You get this. You are suddenly in debt, and now you have this massive debt, which means good luck getting a mortgage. It's an interest rate you're going to want. Good luck getting a car loan, whose interest rate you're going to want. I mean, it just goes on and on and on and on, and it's terrifying.
And then this is always my thing, and why I tell my daughter, listen, if you want to go to college, we'll support you. Right. But it's up to you. You better get good grades.
That's exactly what you did.
But it's like, what if you go and pay all this money and then you don't even find a job in the field that you went to school for?
Right. Thank you.
It's like a trap.
Or, like I know teachers that are in their later 30s that are still paying off student loans.
Yep.
Because on a teacher salary. Really? Do I need to discuss a teacher salary?
Let me tell you a sad thing that I heard.
Oh, I kind of probably do.
I can't remember who it was, but there was a conversation, and they said that they had just paid off, and they were like in their 40s or 50s.
Okay, that's terrifying.
They just paid off their student loans in enough time to start paying for their kids' student loans.
That is my nightmare. See what I mean? But that is the kind of things like that keeps me up at night. Well, that and our daughter with parents not having healthcare, that also keeps me up at night. Those are my two parental nightmares.
Yeah.
I'm like, let's get healthcare for everybody and let's not have student loans. But we're proud of our girls. Like one already has her associates from Metro as a paralegal, and she's going back to get another degree now, and she is debt free. Our one is currently a sophomore at UNO. Between her scholarships and then what we parents kick in, she's debt free. And this is just my opinion. It's what should be done. Yeah, it's like I know it's hard. Don't get me wrong. My husband and I made a lot of sacrifices to make this happen. Yep. But it's something we believe in. We believe in debt free like you do.
Yep. And I never will buy a new car, and I don't really care as long as it gets me around. Yes. And it's not.
Which is hard to do now. You try finding a car, like a decent used car.
Man.
Oh, man. That is to be the biggest problem with the pandemic and my little personal first world problems.
Yeah. Hopefully we don't. Well, Missy she got rear-ended last June.
Oh, is she okay?
I think it was. Yeah, she just finished with all of her physical therapy or not physical therapy, chiropractic care. Okay. But it took about a year for her to get kind of back right. But she was just at a stoplight and.
Well, ironically, so Ed and Amy's senior year of high school, on Veterans Day even, the total irony here, my vet, they were going to a college visit, got run off the road got hit and then slammed off the road, through the field, through a fence, and they're okay, but the car was totaled.
Yeah.
And I'm like, thanks. So now we have a car note, I'm not gonna lie. Because we weren't planning on having a car. We thought we'd have, the car notes all paid off and the kids would be in college, but
that is the worst. When
it was terrifying.
Work hard to pay it off, and then someone else's fault.
Your plan. Yes.
And the money that you get is not enough to replace what you lost.
It wasn't.
That's like the biggest thing.
Like my husband takes care of the cars. I'm not being sexist. It's just I don't know anything about cars, and so Ed takes care of the cars. I presume you do.
I take it to the shop. I'm
like, maybe she takes care of the cars. I shouldn't be sexist.
There's a few things that we'll do. Like the air filters and little stuff.
I don't even know any of that. I'm not gonna lie. I don't even put air in the tires. I'm so stereotypical. Know nothing about cars.
And we go to Holman's Auto right here in Bellevue, and
I've seen you post about that.
Yep.
Okay.
We've been going to those guys for like 10 years. So
we've bought our cars from the Honda dealership in Bellevue.
Nice.
And our favorite sales guy is David. Shout out to David.
Hondas are good cars.
Honda Dave's a good guy. If you go to Honda, go to Honda Dave.
There you go.
Our 21-year-old bought her first car last August, and he helped find, it had to be brought in. He helped find just the perfect car for her and got her, when you're 21, she was 20 at the time. You don't have much of a credit score. Yep. So he got her great financing, and shout out to David Honda.
There you go. We're all over the map today. Right. See, we're going to talk about food and dairy free.
Right.
And I said, you know what? It's just a conversation. So we'll see where it goes. Nothing wrong with that. But we got the important stuff about the dairy-free out to you, and we hope that you guys were just entertained by everything that we talked about, and maybe you relate on some level. We maybe should cut it soon here,
I know. Well, if someone does want to reach out to me, seriously, do contact me. I really do like helping people. One of the things I did, I hadn't even realized, because again, I love to cook. So remember at the height of the pandemic when people were buying groceries in March, April, and the shelves were bare?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not exaggerating when I say there are people like bakers and Hy-Vee that were honestly in tears or about to be in tears because I couldn't find their usual like Stouffer's lasagna, which for me is like, okay, you just make lasagna. But I helped so many people going, it's okay, look, here's what you have to do. Go get this and go get this, and you can make this.
Yeah. And
so to me, it's intuitive. So I will say, and I helped at Children's Hospital. Emma's done a lot there. We like walk people through how to like dairy-free 101, and we've helped a lot of people. So if there's anyone who needs to be dairy-free, please reach out. He knows how to get hold of me.
Yep. Well, I always ask our guests to drop their Twitter handles and Facebook and Instagram and all that stuff.
Reach out, because I'd rather you reach out to me than struggle with being dairy-free and not know what to do.
Yeah. So I'll put her information in the details. But again, can you tell them what your handles are? So
it's MW Loves Coffee, because that's just how basic I am. Melissa Wagner. MW Loves Coffee. It's just that basic.
There you go. And that's on Twitter and Instagram.
Yep.
There you go. So any final thoughts or anything aside from if they need help? Is there any like favorite dish that you like, or aside from the cheesecake?
Aside from the cheesecake, I'll say I'm really most proud of the New York style cheesecake, because that one took quite some time.
I think we might need that recipe.
And then the other one that's really hard to recreate is Alfredo. Have you ever tried making dairy-free Alfredo?
Nope.
I figured it out. I'll send you that one from Mitzi too.
I think she would probably like that. She eats, I don't know what it is about Alfredo, but it's one of those things where I never order it or I never get it. Like I think I had some like out of a microwave thing one time when I was younger, and I just said, man.
Oh yeah, it's probably why.
Yeah,
that's probably why.
I probably would really enjoy it if I ordered it, but it's just one of those things that you remember, like, oh no, I had a bad experience.
Go to Luigi's and get their Alfredo.
Oh, Luigi's.
Life.
Everything is good. We talked about Luigi's yesterday.
Did you really? I love Luigi's.
Yeah, John's like, I love Luigi's.
I love Luigi's.
Yeah, he's been helping over there.
Has he? I didn't know that. Some things I'm learning today.
Yeah, he said that he was confusing some people because they would walk in and they would be like, what are you doing?
That would confuse me too, actually. Be like, John, you work at Luigi's now?
So the owner is out of the country right now. So he has stepped in since he had nothing else to do.
Because John is a great guy. We've already established this.
Yeah.
I mean, he genuinely is a wonderful person.
Yeah, he's like, I love it over there. So
well, I mean, honestly, it's Luigi's.
Yeah, it's so good. And we just had the pizza.
Oh, look, you and I are like, their pizza.
See guys.
Oh, now I need Luigi's pizza. I guess we're all going now. Bye.
Oh man, yeah, they are really good. People were telling me that we need to try that. I haven't had that.
You have not had that?
No.
It's chock full of dairy, so don't let Mitzi have it.
All right.
You enjoy.
All right.
I would say when Emma goes, Emma gets the spaghetti and meatball. Or the spaghetti, I should say, the marinara.
Yeah, I've gotten the like sampler a couple of times before, I think. And then the last time we got pizza, but before that, I think I got lasagna or something.
I mean, everything there's good, and let's be honest.
Yeah, it is. We are very spoiled around here with restaurants. There's no shortage of good places to eat.
You would think, coming from Washington, D.C., we thought, oh, Bellevue, what? Oh, no.
Yeah.
There's a serious foodie scene between Bellevue, Papillion, and Omaha, and La Vista. There's a foodie scene.
There is.
We are spoiled.
I don't think we're missing out. So
nope, we're not.
I said this recently, too. We might be a little behind on some things, but we're not missing out.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Melissa, thank you again for being on. I appreciate it. I hope you had a good time.
I did. I was really nervous, but okay. This wasn't bad at all. Thanks.
Yeah, see, I try to tell people, no, we're just having a conversation. That's all that it is. But if you're tuning in, we appreciate you so much. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Tell your friends about the What's Up Omaha podcast so we can grow and reach more people. It's all about motivation, enjoying life, talking about food, whatever, finances. You never know what we're going to touch on. So tune in. Every week we have an episode every Sunday. So again, thank you guys so much for watching and all your support. Thank you for being on. And
thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, I had fun.
Me too.
I hope you guys learned something or found a product that you might be able to use if you have any of those allergies that she mentioned. So there's some good things out there. Smile, help someone else smile, laugh and help someone else laugh all day, every day. Yeah, thank you guys so much.